each time I make a new video, I never know if it's going to be a good one. I make 2 or 3 a day, and I always pour my heart out into them, and I do my best to help other people through the process and journey of losing their hair. But that's part of why I like making 2 or 3 videos a day, because since I don't know which ones are actually going to connect with people, I might as well just throw them all out there and see what sticks and see what resonates. So I'm always trying my hardest to connect, but until I press publish and I see how many people are watching it, how many people are reacting to it, then I know. And I do know for a fact that I made one this week that definitely connected in a good way, and that was hair loss, hurt feelings, and how I overcame them both. I'm reading this from my phone out, by the way, for YouTube. So let me read some of those comments, and it just kind of brought something to the focus for me that I wanted to share with you. So Dark Hyso had this to say, quote, "That was a very insightful and wise speech. I particularly appreciated how you brought it on a personal level." Another comment I got was Mo5178, "Nice speech." And then Donald Loudermilk said this, quote, "100% right. And you will find you live a lot longer than anyone else who takes everything to heart. Of course, as long as you don't jump on the suicide bandwagon that's going on right now, forget that. And we're all about life here, not death." And yeah, obviously, yes, that's very true. It's funny, 2 things he said in particular that I just want to camp out on for a moment. He was saying how people who take everything to heart, their life isn't as good. It can't be as good, Even if they live a long life, they're like living in fear, and anxiety, because who's going to offend me next, right? What if you're the opposite of that and nothing offends you? Imagine how much more freed and how much more liberated you are. And that's how I feel. That's how I feel that I am, and I've become over the last 2 years, the moment I stopped allowing anyone, especially the people closest to me, to hurt or offend me or insult me. The other thing he had pointed out, though, was just talking about how we're all about life here. And if you've paused this and tried to squint and look at the words on here, this was a decal my wife bought when we moved in this house a couple years ago. It talks about being grateful, and that's absolutely true. I think it's vital for anyone, especially experiencing hair loss, especially if you're younger than me and have less hair. One of the best things you can do is to be grateful for what you do have. Otherwise, it becomes way too easy to focus on what you don't have and what you're losing, right? And so that's why on my channel, I'm always trying to find ways to help us find maybe the positives of losing hair and how psychologically we can become stronger by going through that sooner, and facing fear straight in the face and saying, "I'm not afraid of you." It's funny, let me try to find it on my phone here. I saw another comment that was kind of similar to that, and I just got it like a couple minutes ago. It was pretty cool. And yeah, here it is. So someone, NSMJKL, they had this to say about a video 6 months later, rosemary oil for hair loss. Part of what he said, quote, "You have a typical determination which makes me feel that you are not afraid of hair loss, but hair loss fears you, friend." So hair loss, can't say it, but I can't say it. But again, hair loss is fearing me instead of I'm fearing hair loss. That's a cool concept. I haven't thought of that on my own. So if you hear me say that in the future, I have to give credit to NSMJKL for saying that. That's exactly the way I see it. I really think that you have to face fear and anxiety, stare it down, take away its power. Otherwise, you become its slave. That's definitely how I feel. And going back to what Donald was saying, though, about how we're all about life here. So yeah, it's about being grateful for what you have. It goes back to being a victim or being a victor. People who are victims are not grateful for what they have. They're focused on what they don't have, on what they're losing, of what other people have. And then when you start focusing on, man, actually, despite losing my hair, I've actually got some pretty good things going on in life. And there's plenty of movies that address this. I can't think of any that are rated PG-13, because I don't want to be the adult telling you to go watch R-rated movies. But I can think of several, like all the Saw movies and Butterfly Effect and Vanilla Sky. I mean, these movies that I like, actually, and they help you realize, man, if I didn't have my life, or I had a lesser version of my life, what would life be like? It kind of puts you in that different perspective to stand back and look at your life and think, you know what, there's some things going on that I don't like and I'm not looking forward to having to deal with, but ultimately I am grateful for my life. I'm happy to be alive. And Donald's right. We are all about life here. We're about overcoming the obstacles that come, because for some of you, you're much younger than me, much less hair already, and you've got a big obstacle earlier in life that I didn't have. But man, just imagine when you're my age, you'll be that much better off than I am because you had more years that you got to live where you already overcame that sooner, whereas me, I really think for me, hair loss really wasn't the thing that set me back. It was that even though I knew how important it was to not care what other people think, that was fine. But allowing other people to affect my emotions was the thing. And I promise you, that definitely has an effect on how you feel about yourself. Not just hair loss, but any insecurity. When you allow other people to control your emotions, remember, that's a choice. You know, I'm a blogger, you know, too, and I'm reviewing this children's book, and it's talking about how you always have a choice in your words to be kind to others or to be cruel to others. But I want to add on top of that, in addition to controlling the words and choosing the words you speak to others, you also have a choice to react to others' words. So when other people may tease you, may make fun of you for your hair loss, man, you're only 19, look at you, got a receding hairline already. And you can even tell that it's coming from a hard spot, you know, a dark place in their life. Obviously, for one, it's a mirror of how they feel about themselves. A person who feels good about themselves and is at peace isn't going to be pointing that out. For me, that's obvious. But ultimately, you have a choice. You have a choice on how you react to their words, not just what you say to other people, but how you internalize that. You get to choose your own emotions. Otherwise, they get to control that for you. I refuse to live a life in which other people control my emotions. I want to be alive. And for me, being alive and in control of myself means that I control how I feel. And I don't have to let other people control that. We are all about life here. We are about overcoming these things. And I'm so glad for these comments. We can be grateful for what we do have. We can be grateful for what we have.